Okay, so it's Thursday the 6th of August 2026 and it is 8:01 a.m. and we can we have this low here, Asian session low, Asian session high, as you can see. We can see a break of the low, retesting and then go lower, or we could see break of the low, retesting, break, retest of the low, and then higher to take out Asian session high, but it will just depend and go off what we see. We will go off what we see. As you can see so far, losses wise, it's been a bad week because we've had 2 losses and 1 win. But if you look at the trades I've taken, they've been, to me anyway, I can only speak for myself, they've been good. I haven't broken any rules. This trade here was a piss take, 7 out of 8 minute trade. I don't know why it took so long. This trade here, waited for a break of structure, failed to break it again, retested the lows, broke beneath it, broke beneath the London session. The London session was recent low, and then it broke beneath the first London session, or the lowest point of London session, which was here. Retested it in 50%. I entered, so to me it was a good trade. But as you can see, continued up, stopped me out. That's fine. We'll close above structure and then I close out manually, which is fine. But for me, that was a good trade. So I can't really be pressed at that, because even if I had entered a buy, right, that if this closed above, let's say this was London session high, right, create this low and it closed above, even if I had entered it, right, I would have lost anyway, because I would have broken structure to the downside. So this, it's just one of them, it's one of them trades, it's just one of them days where it broke structure to the downside, broke structure to the outside. Like, I don't think many people personally would have won that. You know, people out there would have won that with their strategies or whatever, but I don't think many people would have won that. And the reason for that is for the simple fact that it did have a nice break to the outside of Asian session, which a lot of people would have just bought on the retest to take price higher. So they would have lost because, as you can see, it's broken structure, right? Even if, for example, this is the low that created the high, people would wait for the retest, or if people just trade London session. Some people trade pre-London session, so they trade from 7. So I feel like they're the only people that might have continued on and actually won the trade, because let's say you're waiting for the Asian session break. Asian session break would have been here, above this, these highs, like this. So they would have entered for like 50% here. I know it's looking a bit messy, but it's just an example. They would have entered 50% here, and then the retest would have come in at 10 minutes past 8. And as you can see, they would probably closed out around here, or when it started to reverse here and created this break structure, or change of character, whatever you want to call it, they would probably closed out here. So they're probably the only ones that would have won that trade, you know. But because I don't trade any form of pre-London or Asia session, I just consider it all one thing. Anyone that traded London session goes off just London session structure, I feel like they would have lost the trade, because they would have seen this as break of Asian session high. Now you want to see a break of London session high. Okay, there was no break, so they look for sells. They would have probably been in the same sell as me, or they would have marked up that as their area of entry, because they would have said this is the break structure, or this is their break structure. But because it's an impulsive candle, no matter if you think this is your break structure or that's your break structure, you'd still be entering in the same place. So they would have lost the sells, as you can see. So yeah, it's just one of them days where it's broken structure to both sides. So it's just yeah, that happens sometimes, break structure to the outside, break structure to the outside. This trade to me was so clean. It was a very good trade. Didn't hit TV though, that's the only annoying part about it. But the analysis, the breakdown, I feel like was very good. Break structure of London highs, retested in, as I said, making this resistance area a form of support. As I said, that this area becomes support. Retested in numerous times, then broke structure again, retested in within five or literally a minute or two. Bought as soon as I bought, straight into profit and was in profit for literally 7 hours. Now, if we're going off my 50% entry, I was in profit for that for literally 7 hours and 30 minutes. Didn't come to my entry, but if we're talking about my second entry, then it come into drawdown one, two, three, you could say, four, five, six. Came into drawdown quite like a couple times, but nothing major. Just kept retesting that entry. Create then it created this whole rally up. But as you know, when price is doing this, what it's going to eventually do is take it all out. Not all of it necessarily, but the majority of it out for a proper deep retest, and that was the deep retest here. So proper deep retest, and then it will push back up. Or sometimes the deep retest will just take you out or close beneath structure, and then that shows you that you was wrong, and it's now going to trade in the opposite direction. Because if it does this and trades and retests it back into structure, and it continues the upside, that's a positive sign. So as you can see, deep retest, then it created this. So break structure of these highs, but struggled. Wait, did it close? Oh, closed above here. So this is now the new high. This is your new low. Deep retest again, back into this area. And then it continued on. And as you can see, it continued all the way up. So that was good. Uh, Monday. To me, this was another good trade. It's just unlucky that it lost. Uh, I shouldn't have done that because that now confuses me. I don't know why I moved my target to that. Let me just put it back to normal because that just feels weird. So as you can see, this is the high, break structure, retested in very nicely. Retested in within what, 5-10 minutes after break structure. So a quick retest is always a good sign. It shows that impulsive move and so on. Then instant drop into profit. I was like, okay, this is a good trade. Kind of hovered around this area, consolidated, retested back into the entry. So that was a good sign. Okay, retested back into entry. Now, is it going to retest back into entry and stop me out, or is it going to retest into entry to the downside? And as you can see, break structure again. So I was thinking this is good. Retest again. I'm thinking, okay, this is still good, still a positive trade because it's going to retest back into structure and continue on, hopefully. Retested back into structure, closed above. Okay, cool. We've lost the trade. Closed out. That was it. So I followed my rules. Definitely following my rules, but it just goes to show you can follow your rules and still lose. Following your rules doesn't mean you're not going to lose, but it's just about being consistent with your rules. Oh, and as you can see, all that yapping, and prices tested these lows already. So that's good. You know, that is good. So as you can see, we've had a test of these lows. This is London session open. Had a test of Asian session lows. We've closed beneath pre-London. So pre-London would be 7 a.m. So that's pre-London high. This is pre-London low. Close beneath pre-London low. Now we want to see if we can close beneath Asian session lows. If we can get a close beneath there, that'd be good. And then we'll see if it's gonna be showing signs of sells or buys. Why is my thing froze? Yeah, then we're gonna be seeing if we can get signs of sells or buys. And yeah, it'll be interesting. If we're going for sells today, why does it keep freezing? If we're going for sells today and it is a sell-off, then what we could see is this area I've been talking about, that area being potentially retested or filled or whatever you want to call it. That is the area that I was looking for yesterday to be tested. We could see that. If not, and we're not going for sells, we're going for buys. And I feel like the only area, because these areas wouldn't matter, to be honest, but I feel like these areas would be key. You know, these areas would be like the next form of liquidity. So what is going on? So yeah, so these areas would be the form of liquidity. As you can see, a 30-foot take profit means it would be creating a new high type of thing. But yeah, these would be the points of liquidity. And then if we was going for a sell-off, I think these areas, as I said, would be forms of liquidity there. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what goes on. But that is just my thoughts and opinions for this morning. But it hasn't showed any signs of anything yet. Hasn't broken structure to the outside, downside. So it's just all an assumption. It's all just an opinion. There's there's nothing behind it, you know? So yeah, we'll just wait for this to all play out. And I'll give you an update if it breaks structure to the downside, if it breaks structure to the upside, and then what I'm looking for, and so on. But yeah, that's just an update. So update, price has finally broken structure after 3 hours. No, 2 hours, yeah. Like 3 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's finally broken the lows. So I'm gonna mark from here to here. Stop loss 10 pips, which will be there. 5 pips away from the entry. When it gets within like a 2 pip range, then we will manually enter. And we don't want price to close above this level here. So, oh yeah, I need to mark this. It's 50%. 50% there. Set my limit of 50%. And there's no news today, which I've checked. So that's good. So what is it? 589. 589. 589? Yeah, 589. Stop loss then 689. 689. Take profit. 389. 1.34389. Oh no, I'm stupid because I'm selling from 5. Why am I happening? It's supposed to be 289. 1.34289. Place sell limit. So the sell limit has been set. Wait for it to be within a 2 pip range. 3 pips, a bit far out. But yeah, we'll give an update if we do get into this trade or we don't. But yeah, finally broke structure to the downside. Created structure. If it hadn't, oh, that looks like it could be within 2 pips. Really, still 3 pips. As I was saying, if it had done this, broke the structure to the downside, then we would have obviously entered on the project retest. But if it just broke beneath, then I'd be waiting for better confirmation. But as you can see, we've had this rally to the upside. It's closed above this high, and then it's broken structure. So I feel like the breaker structure to the upside was just a fake out, and now we should get the real sell off. But you don't know. No one knows really. You just go off probability, you know? So, yeah. How far are we now? 2 pips would be there. 2 pip mark is there. Yeah, 2 pip mark is there. So we'll hopefully we'll get tagged into the trade. Set limit for 5, 6, 9. Should I set a limit? I might just manually enter here. Set limit. 5, 6, 9. Add stop levels. Right, the limit's been set, but the spreads on FTMO are just so shocking. Like 0.8 spreads. So I would have just manually, I would have just manually entered, but by the time I entered, I would have probably been down by 0.8 pips, which when you have a 10 pip stop loss, it's near enough down 10% of your position, you know. So yeah, that's not the best. Uh, make sure the stop losses are in the same place. Alright, so yeah, we'll see if this trade gets tagged in. If it does, great. We'll see what happens after. But yeah, this has been a long wait for breaker structure. Normally it's instant breaker structure or pretty quick within the first hour. But yeah, today was a bit of a long breaker structure. You know, only broke structure what 10, 15 minutes ago, which is yeah, a bit crazy. It's pushing 11 and structure has just been broken to the downside. Or maybe it could be a good sign to show that now that we've broken structure of London session, I've been tagged into the trade. No, I haven't. I actually haven't been tagged into the trade. That is crazy. What the fuck? I haven't been tagged into the trade. I thought I got tagged in, I haven't. It's at 563 and 559. Wow, that is crazy that I haven't been tagged in. But as I was saying, um, maybe it is a good sign because what it could mean is 11 a.m. is gonna obviously be in 8 minutes, but 11 a.m. is like kind of when the US traders you can start to see their influence, and then 12 will be normally it is like consolidation, really, in my opinion. It's at 12 p.m. is about consolidation. At 1 p.m. the market starts to pick up, you know, and you can see the US influence at 1. And at 3 p.m., I feel like that's when like the real move comes. I tried to make an example of it a couple of days ago, but there wasn't any good examples. I don't know if there was a good example yesterday. Like 3 p.m., that whole hour is like very much. Like for example, let's say here, so I lost this trade 12 p.m. big push up to the upside. 1 p.m. you can see it's taking control. It's created this like bearish momentum, and then 3 p.m. instantly pushed up and then continued to the downside. You know, but it's impulsive push to the upside and impulsive push to the downside. Yeah, this trade is gonna annoy me if it doesn't tag me in. But the limits are set. Let me set a thingy actually. And this is why going with a funder that has good spreads matter. Because when you trade with small stop losses, like 10 pips, being missed when it's actually hit on the charts, it's annoying, you know? Because if it does enter me in and it enters me a bit higher, that is great if the trade wins because then obviously it means I can make more profit out of the same position because I've been entered at a higher price. But what it does mean is if when you're trying to enter manually, if you've got a 10 pip stop loss, right, and you enter and the spread's 0.8, 0.8 spreads. If you've entered and there's a bit of delay, or there's always going to be delay from when you click buy. When you click buy or sell, you're not going to instantly be entered. It's going to be that little second or couple second delay for it to actually go through. That could cost you a whole pip. And a whole pip might not sound like a lot if you've got a 10 pip stop loss, but if you think about it, every pip of your stop loss is equivalent to 10%. If you lose a trade of 10 pips, you've lost 100% of that trade, right? Because you're only risking 10. So every one is the equivalent to 10%, you know? Now, if you're missing out on 10% every time, or you're losing 10% every time because of not even your wrong error, just the spreads on a firm, it gets annoying, you know? Because as you get bigger accounts, you'll start to see how that 10% really does have an effect. As you can see here, it's wicked right into where I've wanted to enter from. It's gone above by 0.5 pips, but because of spread of being 8, it would have to go up to here for me to be entered. Then for the 50% area, it would have to go up to here for it to be entered, which is just crazy, you know. But in futures, they don't have to deal with this problem, so futures might be something I look into going forward. But yeah, this is a trade I do for now. As I've mentioned, this area, not that I care about it, but this is an interesting area, you know, because it's an area that's had a lot of support. But we'll see if this area is even traded to. The trade could just lose, like for real. But could retest this area. We could see some nice rejection from this area. As you can see, it's gone back to the area again, and it's still not tagged me in. It's actually crazy. We are 0.2 pips now away from entry. It's at 567. It needs to get to 569 for me to be entered. We're at 567 again, 566, 567 again, 567 again. Now we've been tagged into the trade. It went to 569 because price went to 570 and now it's tagged me in. So I'm in that trade now. This one here, I'm in that now. So I'm gonna just make sure to down. Do like that. Download image. Okay, make sure that is accurate. 5 p.m. will be exit all our trades. Let's make that red. There's no news, so there's no reason to shut it at 1:30 or anytime soon. But yeah, I connected. Did I say that this morning? I can't remember. But yeah, I've connected my actual FTMO account to my what's it called? To my FX replay. So it's actually gonna show all my trades that I've actually taken, just so you lot can see that they've actually been taken in real life time. You know, I'm not just on the charts just saying things and oh yeah, I'm gonna take this trade. I'm just not. That's just weird, and that people that do that just a bit weird. Let me try bring it up actually. So as you can see, MT5 actually, oh, can it? MT5, this is my account. And as you can see, retested the highs. This is me giving the breakdown of each trade. And then analytics, as you can see, I'm up 1.6% so far. 5 wins, 11 losers, worst loss 2.2%, best win 3.7%. So near enough double, near enough, not really, but near enough to double the average loss. The worst loss is near enough half of the best win, which is what you always want to see. Average win 2%, average loss 0.7%. So let's just round that to 0.8. So near enough a third. Do you know what I'm saying? Like times, like less than times, like you can times it by 3 basically. Do you know what I'm saying? My profits, kind of ish. You could just say it's double, but yeah. But I'm gonna try push it and say it's times 3 in it. Average loss is less than nowhere near my average win, which is good. That thing. Average duration of win or trade, that's winning, I guess. 4 hours and 25 minutes. Average duration of a loss, 1 hour and 6 minutes. Max consecutive losses is 8. It's not truly 8 for the simple fact that when it comes to my losses, remember I take 2 positions, one on the 2 pip entry and one on the 50% entry. So 8 losses. Remember, if I'm taking 2 trades per thing, but like per position, 2 trades per trade ideal, that's only the equivalent to 4 because it's 2 trades, as I said. And average consecutive wins, the average length 1.67, average consecutive losses 3.67, which makes sense because, as I said, my win rate isn't that high. It's a 31% win rate so far. It says I've taken 11 trades, but it's a lot less than 11. And as you can see, June, that was just to start the account. You know, so I just took like a pound trade or something, I'm not sure. Yeah, pound trade. July. This was when I was trading the 15 minute. As you can, this is yeah, this one I was trading the 15 minute, and then as you can see, was it was that last week? Yeah, last week then. Last week I actually switched to 5 minute and said I'm gonna trade this because I want to pass as quick as possible. So as you can see, I was risking 2% on one position here, 2% on one position here, one back to back, and then 3 losses, which is fine. You know, I'm used to that. And then, and that's why it says 8 trades losing consecutively because obviously 2 positions, 2 positions, 2 positions. So that's already 6. And then this one, another 2 positions. So that's 8 in total. And then $298 for a win, which clears out these 2 losses. So far, it's been all right, to be fair. You know, if we go to calendar, $113 up in 6 trades, and then July, $265 up. It would be more than $265. No, it would still be $265, but obviously the monthly total would be way more if it wasn't for this 15-minute trade, this on the 50-minute time frame. But that's just my error, my mistake. Can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't take the loss back, is what it is. But yeah, so far, not bad. And as you can see, this all synced trades, so it's not me just typing them in. It's actually all my trades have been synced, minus 0.5%. But if you see my wins, even though I haven't hit TP, Yet all my wins, when I do win, do outweigh my losses, right? And a lot of my losses, if you look at the R return and stuff, it's not it's not that big, you know, it's not that big at all, which is what you like to see. If you're risking 2%, but you're hardly getting stopped out at 2%, then you'll eventually pass. I don't know why it's moving slow now. Hate when it does that and it starts freezing and jittering, like what the fuck. But yeah, why is it moving so slow? But yeah, this is the trade, as you can see, been entered in on the entry of 2 pips. And the reason why I do this is because I want to test how many times will I get tagged in at 2 pips just below 50% because of spread, and how many times will I actually get in at 50%. And then once I can figure that out, that okay, entering 2 pips just beneath 50% works better, then obviously that's where I'll just take 2% risk from and forget the 50%. Obviously still mark it up, but I'll understand that it's probably not going to be hit because of spreads and how often it actually enters, you know. But it's just a weird thing that I wanted to test. And then I'm going to get another account, and with that other account, what I'm going to be doing is setting a limit of 50% or entering within the 50% region, so 2%, 2 pips away or whatever. And all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be entering, but having my stop loss above the high and then targeting a 1 to 2, see how that does. That's what I'm going to also test. So that'll be what I'll test on the next account. And then, yeah, if the 2%, if 1 to 2 start getting hit more frequent and I can see my win rate is better trading with my stop loss just above the high instead of a fixed risk reward, then I'm going to get some more accounts. And then what I'll be doing with every single one of them trades is I'll try copy trade them all, and I'll have accounts where I'm risking 2%, but I'm just going to pass in the first trade. Because, for example, if I have a 5 pip stop loss, right? A 5 pip stop loss, and I'm risking 2%, that now means to catch 1 to 2, I need to catch 10 pips. So now, if I want to catch if I want to catch 5R, which will obviously be the equivalent of 10% if I'm risking 2%, I need to just catch 25 pips, right? Or even if I catch 20 pips, I'm at 8% type of thing, you know? So I'm gonna have trades, I'm gonna have accounts like that where every trade I'm just gonna try pass within the first trade or try get as close as passing within the first couple trades. You know, like I'm not gonna have like a designated TP. I'm just gonna trail my stops in profit. Keep trailing, keep trailing, keep trailing, keep trailing. That's what I'm gonna do. So that's what I'm gonna do with them accounts. But my other accounts, I'm just gonna target a 1 to 2. But yeah, that is enough. Yep, that is enough. Yep. But yeah, if the 50% entry gets hit, I'll let you know. But if it doesn't, you also know. But yeah, that's the trade of today. So 4 days in, 4 days, 4 trades. So price has now retested 50%. So far, the 2 pip entry and 50%, not one trade is missed, which is great. So I am now risking 2% in total, well 2.2% to be specific. Um, and yeah, I've given a breakdown of the trade. I've given a breakdown. So you know what I'm looking for. Where did I actually enter this trade? I entered this trade here, and then this trade here, and we shall see what happens. We'll give an update if anything happens, if it retests the highs, if it wins, loses, you already know, like you'll know that. But just an update, I'm now in both the trades, 50% in the entry, that was 2 pips below. Trade is still valid for me. There'll be no reason for me to close it at this moment in time. Still valid. Traded above. Break shot to the upside. Fake out. Big impulsive move to the downside. Break a structure, break evasion low, break of all the lows. Retest of 50% and it should go to TP. And it should react off this level. So maybe something like this. reaction, and then a strong breakthrough to take out everyone that was buying here, all the stop losses. But whether that plays out, whether that materializes, if that's the right word, nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's just based all on probability. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. And yeah, we'll give an update if anything happens. Price has closed above where we were selling from, so we're going to manually close the trades for a loss of 154 with fees, 164. So that now means the account is at 9,995. So $5 off the account being break even. So yeah, that is this week. So we are at minus $11 this week. Yeah, this week. We've had a loss today, a loss yesterday. Why is nothing loading? I think we've had a loss today, a loss yesterday. So two losses and then a loss on Monday. Yeah, so we've had three losses this week and then one win. And we're now at break even. Well, minus $10, near enough break even. Profit wise. So that is Thursday done. And yeah, to me, it was a good trade. Break structure to the downside after break it to the upside. As you can see here, break structure to the upside. And then after the break structure, the first break structure, continue to break structure. Big bearish candle here. And then a retest of this area. A lot of wick rejections showing that it didn't want to continue to the upside. Then big impulsive candles to the downside, breaking all this structure. Decently quick retest back into 50%, so I thought it was a good sell. So I'm not going to complain about that loss, because to me it made sense. But as you can see, a lot of my losses are coming with breaks of structure in both directions, so I might have to actually look out for that and maybe avoid trades that do that, because it's starting to happen quite a bit now. As you can see here, break a structure to the upside, then break a structure to the downside. Same thing, basically the same thing. Just it was quicker here, slower here, but same thing happened. Break a structure to the upside, not of the Tokyo high, but break a structure of the most recent high in the Asian session, which is here. Then a break a structure of the lows, but instead of, yeah, break a structure of the lows because it did break London low here. Retesting, decently quick retests as well on both trades, and then it's failed. This is the only trade that hasn't broken structure to the downside. It's just straight break structure to the upside and then continued on. So that might be something to watch out for, because it could be a reoccurring theme. That could be the reason for the losses. Break structure, as you can see, push to the upside, break structure to the downside. You could even say this is a break structure to the upside, to be fair, because we had this low, then it created this low, breaking this structure, and that was the high of London session. This was the low of London session. Then it had a break structure, you could say, to the upside, and a break structure to the downside, retest back in, and then, so free trades kind of not identical, but characteristics are the same. They've had break structures in both directions, you know. So that might be something next week or even tomorrow, if we do get a trade tomorrow, something I look out for, you know, understanding that, okay, if price breaks structure in both directions, maybe it's a trade I avoid, or I should watch it, let's see how it plays out. So yeah, we'll definitely have that journaled. 10, 20. Yeah, we'll definitely have that journaled. Download this so I can add it in my journal. Let me see if it instantly updates. Oh, wrong thing. Let me see if it instantly updates it. Refresh it. No, it hasn't shown up yet. Thursday, so yeah, it hasn't shown up yet. But when it shows up, then I'll obviously journal the trade. It might update it by tomorrow or in a couple hours. Because I know there is. Like, it does need to wait to process and stuff. To yeah. Yeah, that is the trade of today. So yeah, three losses this week, one win, kinda. And yeah, that is it. By next week, I should defo have another. As you can see, I was on FTMO. I defo have another 10K account, and that's where I'll be looking to oh, get rid of that. That's where I'll be looking to put my stop losses just above the most, where I'm selling or buying. I'll put my stop loss above there. The only thing I can say about this trade that the other trades didn't really have is it was kind of, you could say, forming bullish structure. This low created this high, you could say, and then it's created this, you know, this little. So you could say it's broken these highs, created this low, and then a retest into this area here, and then gone higher. And now it's broken structure. It should retest back in and then go higher. So that could be the only thing I could point out as a mistake, but at the end of the day, that isn't part of my plan. My plan is to hold the trade once it's entered until it either hits stop loss, break structure to the upside, or it retests in and then shows signs that it wants to continue to the upside or it wants to reverse. So yeah, I don't think there was a problem with the trade personally. I could have waited for another break of structure to enter, but I didn't. So yeah, I followed my rules, but there is consistency as I can see in the last three trades that I have lost. They both broken structure to both sides. So maybe the next break structure to both sides I don't take. You know, if it doesn't give a breaker structure and retest and it breaks into the opposite direction, maybe I should just leave it type of thing. But yeah, we'll have to see in it. We'll have to see. Can't get it right all the time. But yeah, that is it for Thursday.